Hey everybody, this is Dorothy Kuhn. I am back. All of us are back here in Texas, save my niece who returned to Washington, D.C., where she lives and works. It was wonderful to be at the beach with all of the women in the family, and we just had a great time together. As I promised yesterday, I want to give you just something that is really special in advance of our training. And this is going to be the first thing that we address on Tuesday evening, U.S. time. So you've got those calendar times. So make sure to put those times for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evening for our 3-day challenge on your calendar with those reminder notices so that you get every juicy bit of what it is that we're going to be covering on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week to be able to help you really move forward in your career. I can't wait for those sessions with you. So make sure and sign up. Click the link below for the 3-day challenge. And that way you'll get all the information about how to click, what to click, how to make sure you've got your audio, you can see all of those things. You can chat in the chat box, whatever it is you want. I'm ready for your questions. And I still have my Marlena Dietrich voice, so we're still working on that. But everything in life is a work in progress. So we're just moving forward and doing the great work that we're here to do. So the first thing that we'll address on Tuesday really is what are those kinds of questions? What are the questions that we can ask that really do move the dial for us in our career with the effectiveness that we need to get stuff done while still feeling other people feeling like we care about them and that we care about the kind of results. Those two things together, caring about the people and caring about the results, that's what really great questions deliver every time. And so the 3 components, I'm going to give you this little pre-training so you're ready for all the juicy stuff that we're going to cover on Tuesday, is those 3 things are attitude. You can call it an energetic, how do you show up energetically in the moment? Alignment to objective. Of course, your questions must align with the objective that you and your team are working hard to make sure and achieve. And then how to form a useful question. And I'm going to distinguish useful questions from common questions because the most common questions, particularly when things don't go the way we expect, is a why question. And just put this in your bonnet. This is really important. Why questions are the least useful question because there is no definitive answer to a why question. Just to pile that on, in addition to there being no definitive answer to a why question, and I mean definitive like numbers and facts kind of definitive. In addition to that, a why question, unless it's asked in like the most loving way, a why question will almost always put someone on the defensive. And people who feel like they have to defend their honor, their integrity, their ability to perform, people who feel like they have to protect anything will not be as forthcoming from you. They won't feel as safe with you. And so there are a whole variety of reasons that why questions are the least useful. And so we want to, generally speaking, avoid why questions. There are some exception cases when a why question is valuable, but they're rare. So we're going to focus tomorrow evening on the kinds of questions that are the most useful. And so right now for today, and getting you prepped for tomorrow evening's training, I'm going to give you a little bit of prep for attitude. So the thing that's really critical about attitude is that you can say the same words. You can walk into a room with the same gait or walking style that you've had all your life. You can show up at anything with the same kind of factual things about you, but within holding an entirely different attitude in your heart, energy within your body, and be perceived in very different ways. And so you want to show up in a way that people feel safe and well held. And that is a judgment free way. So showing up with that kind of judgment free attitude is something that you can, all of us prejudge things. It's human nature to do, and our brains are wired to do it for very good reasons. So being able to step above what is the common situation. Oops, almost pulled out my earbuds. Being able to step above that really does set you apart. So we'll talk in more depth about that on the training on Tuesday evening U.S. time. And then as we are moving forward, you want to make sure that you've got an attitude where people feel safe enough to tell you the bad news. And the attitude to take toward bad news, it is better to have bad news early than late, because bad news early is something you can fix before whatever it is that you're building toward is ready to go live for public consumption or for executive consumption or for the next stage where it's going to be out of your team and into a bigger audience who can look at it. You want to be able to find every problem as early as possible, and being able to do that really does give you a huge advantage. And the critical piece to doing that is to being welcoming of bad news, because you can solve it. Your team can solve it. You can assign specific actions to specific people to get that thing solved before it gets to a place where it has a wider audience that might not be as they might have different expectations, and generally they would. So, the second piece of asking really great questions is, of course, to align your questions with your objective. Now, this plays into what you may already be aware of as what are called SMART goals. SMART goals are specific. They are measurable, and you will go into those in more detail on Tuesday's training. But making sure that you're fully aligned with what it is that your piece of the organization is meant to deliver, and really dialing in on that is absolutely critical to making sure that you've got what it is that you need, and that you get the information back from your team so you know how to problem solve. So that's truly, truly important. And then circling back around to a mention at the top of this video was really, what are the kinds of useful questions? And so we'll go over some examples tomorrow in the evening, U.S. time, on those examples of really useful questions. And you want to make sure and make them brief. One of the things that is that makes people truly uncomfortable, and in social situations, being indirect and kind of dancing around a topic a little bit, particularly a sensitive topic, is something that we do. And if you've got skill in that regard, good for you. That's a useful skill. At work, in business, as you're driving forward to achieve an objective with a team that you want to have really great rapport with, who respects you and you respect them, you want to be able to ask direct questions. You want both those quivers in your, both those arrows rather, in your quiver, so that you can use the right tool, the right question tool, at the right time. And in business, being able to ask direct questions without prejudgment, without tipping your hat that you're going to be displeased with your teammates or your direct reports or indirect reports, then is absolutely critical. So we'll cover that on Tuesday's training. So I just wanted to give you this bit of a training so you can start to think about the kinds of ways in which you have the opportunity to up level how it is that you lead, how it is that you ask questions, how it is that you're fully aligned with the objectives that that your team is contributing to your overall organization, and the results that your organization gets, and how your attitude shows up. And I'll leave you with this little story. So years ago, I was in a really great role that I had a ton of fun with in a large U.S. banking organization, one of the top banks in the country. And we had a big meeting of all the technology people. And so I was there. I was sitting next to my boss. He was just off to my right. And then a fellow walked in who was a senior to my boss, a couple levels up. And as soon as that guy walked into the room, you could just like feel this delicious energy that he moved in with. It was friendly, it was powerful, it was welcoming kind of energy. And he hadn't said a thing. He just walked in a way that was really, it changed the energy in the room. And my boss was sitting, I noticed it. My boss was sitting next to me. Now, this is a by the numbers kind of guy. And he looks over to me and he says, I just love that guy. I don't know what it is about him, but you can feel him across the room. And you could. So that's a true up level. It makes a huge difference in how it is that, this guy was not guarded at all. On the other hand, he had good boundaries. Now, that's two sides of the very same coin. To hold within you that kind of energy that is not guarded, but has good boundaries. And that's a little something to get your head wrapped around. It is truly achievable. I will tell you, when I achieved that in my life, there were a variety of things that I did to achieve that. And it made a tremendous difference in the kind of results that I was able to get. And I've noticed this consistently throughout the top leaders in every industry and in every business that I've been a part of. And so I want you to be able to have that too. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We won't be able to complete all of that in one session tomorrow evening, but there's more beyond. So this is Dorothy Kuhn, and I'm looking forward to seeing you. Bye from back in Texas, and we'll see you on Tuesday evening. Make sure you've got those calendar events on your calendar with the reminders to show up, and make sure to stick all the way to the end. And I've got something exciting for you tomorrow in the pre-training for the next video, or the next training session on Wednesday. Beyond. So looking forward to seeing you on the call. If there's somebody that you know that you think would find great value in being a part of this, feel free to take that link that you've got and share it with that good woman, that good man who, there are lots of people all over the world who need this kind of help. Think of one and share that, and you will have done your good deed for the day. So this is Dorothy Kuhn signing out, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday. Bye for now.